Tubers, Tibets, various crazy people. In about 1 minute, I'm going to have my friend Gary Dennis come on the channel with us, and he's going to talk to you about budgets in the Philippines. He's going to go over the visa process, and he's going to give some good information as far as cost of living, how to deal with immigration, and basically just anything and everything that he knows about Thailand. So hang in there. He's going to be with us in about 1 second. Well, okay, kids, as promised, I'm here with my friend, my buddy, my pal. You know him, you love him. You can't live without him, Gary Dennis.
Hi,
Gary,
kids.
thanks for coming on.
You're more than welcome. First of all, I want to say hi to my daughter, Angela, and my grandson, Wesley, just turned 15, and my son-in-law, Fred. Hi. That's all you get. Go ahead.
Well, that was good. That was sweet. So anyway, since I don't know much about nothing, I figured I'd find somebody that knows a lot about everything. And that's my buddy Gary. And we're going to talk to you about the budget, living here in Thailand. Been chatting with Gary now for over 3 weeks since we've been here. And for those that don't know, May and I were sick the first couple of weeks that we got here, and we've simply extended our stay. So we have not had an opportunity to run around ourselves and look at apartments and this and that and the other, but Gary has. And I asked Gary flat out, how much does it cost you to live here? And he said $2,200. And so I thought I'd let him break that down for you, and I'll shut up.
That's 2,200. That's breaking it down as much as I can. No, value of the dollar is way up, so my apartment, exactly like what Paul is in here, is about $655 a month. That's went down over $100 because of the strong dollar exchange rate. So that's, just call it 700 because that will change eventually. Mm-hmm. And I budget $50 a day, which is $1,500 a month, and 7 is 22. And on that $50, that covers everything. That covers doctor visits, that covers food, that covers utilities, that covers entertainment, gas in my motorbike, clothing, you name it. I eat what I want, when I want, as much as I want, as you can tell. But breaks down to about $50 a month. Sometimes, or a day. I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
A day. Sometimes there are some days I only spend 30. I've been home the past couple of days. I didn't spend anything. This month I'm on track at $35 a day. I got a lot of those doctor visits out of the way. I had the complete blood workup, and I had to check the testosterone, the urologist, the dermatologist at Bangkok Hospital. So, and I have bills that I still pay in America, which is car insurance and supplemental Medicare insurance.
So that's part of the 22.
That's part of the 22.
So a cat that was debt-free, we could knock it maybe down to $2,000.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
You could take it down to 2,000 very easily and still live what I call the epicenter of Phuket, which is Patong. It's the number one tourist place in Thailand. Next to Bangkok. Bangkok is a pretty big draw too, but as far as resorts go, there's another place called Hua Hin. They don't get near the traffic that they do here in Patong.
And so guys that are on a $1,000 budget, would you say that that's realistic?
I would say any budget is realistic. It's just according to the lifestyle. I mean, as you and I have discussed, there are rooms available for over $100 a month here. They're on a side street. They're closer to away, or they're farther away from the beach. They're 3, 4, 5 streets away. They're just just basic one-room concrete walls. $100 a month. You can eat street food for a total of $4 or $5 a day. So $5 a day, that's $150 a month. $250. I mean, as you can see, yes, you can, but it'd be a very, I can't think of the word.
Austere.
Austere. Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Paul.
You're welcome. I'm a wordsmith.
He is. It's like sitting next to the Britannica. You know what I mean? It's like having an encyclopedia right at your left hand. You know, one of these, get a fresh one. But yeah, you could do another 1,000, but you're not going to have a very enjoyable time. I mean, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do anything. You know, you're not going to have internet. You're for sure not going to have air conditioning, you know, and whatnot. So, you know, you really need to be up around that, I would say that 1,700.
Okay.
You know,
that's about what my number is in the Philippines.
Yeah. 1,800. You can get a nice little condo, you know, a nice studio that's up to date, air conditioning, with a cleaning service, close to everything, and that's in Patong if you want to live in the epicenter.
Now, talk to us a little bit about the outlying areas. There's other spots that guys can go. You and I were talking about it 10 minutes ago. I have had no experience other than here in Patong.
Right.
I was here in 2005 when you first invited me to come hang out with you.
Right.
And I came for 2 weeks. I think I ended up mooching off of him for 2 or 3 months.
It's tough. A lot of prayer. Deep prayer.
I came out here in 2009. I lived here for a year. You were here at that time. And I just, you know, it's been 12 years, man, since I've been here. And I've seen a big difference. Now, of course, the pandemic had a big hit on that. A lot of businesses are closed and everything's going. I'm finding that there's a lot more aggressiveness as far as the price gouging, if you will, you know, for the taxis and for the entertainment and whatnot. But I think that's just a sign of the times because it's what, about 40% occupied here?
Yeah.
Normally, from what it used to be?
Yeah, 50% at the very best.
Okay.
Is, you know, we go down the different streets, I always pointing out, look at all these shops that are closed. I mean, they're just one after the other, after the other, after the other. They just never, it's going to take, I would say, 3 or 4 years of a good economy. That's if the whole world doesn't implode. It's going to take, you know, 3 to 5 more years just to bring it back to where it used to be. Yeah.
Are you seeing a lot of foreigners coming here from America? I've noticed, I've just noticed a different vibe, if you will. A lot more Middle Eastern guys, a lot more Indian guys. I haven't seen as many Caucasian guys running around. I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong, or is that a real dynamic that's going on out here? Do you know why, if I'm right or if I'm wrong?
Well, you know, the economy isn't good anywhere that you go. Before, when you were here, there were lots of Australians.
Aussies, yeah.
The Aussies. There was a direct flight, a couple of them from like Sydney and Melbourne or wherever, direct to Phuket. So those folks could just, you know, a few hours away, 8, 9, something like that. I've never flown it, but that's about what it is. A lot of Aussies. Now, you know, the Aussie economy is terrible, just absolutely terrible. Their real estate, they're having trouble with their banking system and getting people paid. So you don't get that anymore. And then you had a lot of Russians. They were very prevalent here for many years, even in Vietnam when I was there. They were buying up businesses and whatnot. You don't have the Russians anymore because of the whole war situation, Ukraine, and Putin just plain stopping people from traveling. A lot of their credit cards were stopped. They couldn't use their credit cards. So you don't have those two groups, Russians and Australians, coming. So that really cut that out. And then, you know, the airlines, it's more expensive to get here from America, for sure. America, I mean, they got their own problems, right? You know, any of you that live there know that gas prices, food prices, energy prices, everything is just like skyrocketing. So they just don't have the money. The ones that do are the Indians, because India is right next door. So, and their economy has been doing better than average. So they've got a little more money to spread around. So you do get a lot more Indians than what there used to be. And you get a lot more Malaysians because Malaysia is just south. So a lot of times I think they're Middle Easterners, but they're really Malaysians because they're Muslim. And you just, I don't know, for some reason I think Muslim and I think Middle East, which is just not true. But I have met Middle Easterners on the beach or whatever, having coffee. You start talking, where you're from, like Saudi Arabia or Dubai or Doha, those kind of places. But the majority of it are coming from Malaysia. You don't get the Chinese anymore because they're zero lockdown, and of course they've got their own economic problems. Japanese never really came a lot. You get a few South Koreans, and then you get local ties. So you're right, you don't see many Caucasians.
So you're here on, what, a one-year visa?
1 year retirement visa.
I'm going to let you talk about that. I'm just going to excuse myself, turn on the air because it's warm.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I thought I was going into a coma. So if you're over 55 and basically if you have like $1,800, $1,900 a month coming in through Social Security or a pension or a annuity, if you're stupid enough to go, get involved with annuities. But anyway, if you've got that guaranteed money coming in around $1,800, $1,900 a month, you can get what's called a 1 year retirement visa. And if you get it from the time you land, you get 15 months. So I came here in April of this year, 2022. So now my visa is good until September of 2023. So that's the 1 year retirement visa. And then I can re-up that. Now that cost me about right around $1,400, $1,500, but that's also a multiple entry. I can leave Thailand as many times as I want and come back, no problem. Now they do have a cheaper one where you can't do that. Once you're here for the year. You leave, you lose it, and then you got to start all over again. And that's a lot cheaper. That's probably $1,000, $1,100 or something like that. So that's the price structure. And then next September, I can simply do the paperwork, and it'll be much, much, much cheaper, like $50 versus $1,400. But I had an agency do it, and the reason is you have to have a bank account to get the visa. But you can't get a bank account unless you've got a visa. Can't get the visa unless you have a bank account. So, you're going back and forth, and then you get it. So when I got here, I knew I wanted to stay. Absolutely. So I just immediately went, right, it's called TMT Visa Service here in Patong. Fabulous people, very professional, direct to the point, timely, etc. No jimmy jacking around. They took care of it for me. I got it back in, a couple of months, and I was good until September of 23. Now, I still have to what's called report every 90 days, and that's simply just taking my passport into the local immigration, which is right on the beach, and walk in and say, 90 day, hand it to him. He looks at it, he stamps it, gives it back, no charge, get out. They're very direct down there.
They are. We went. This man I had to extend.
They're like, you know what I mean? When we were there, the phone rang, and he, after about, it took him about 6 seconds, he goes, look, I don't have time. You come here. I answer questions. I don't have time now. Bye-bye. Okay? Yeah. But you can imagine, they get these tourists all day.
Like me. It took me 4 attempts to get the form filled out.
Yeah, he had a pile of forms like that. Only one was good.
You know what, man? It was 30 minutes. We went in, and they closed at 3.
Yeah.
And the guy, after we did finally get through it, and May got through it and all that, and God bless Jerry being there, because I didn't know what the guy was talking about. But the guy looked at me, and he said, 3:30. And I thought he meant the next day because, the Philippines, nothing happens fast. And Gary goes, dude, I said, let's go get a coffee. We went and got a coffee. Gary says, you got to be back there in 15 minutes. I said, today? He said, yeah. And I couldn't believe it. Walked in, took a look, gave it to me. So both maybe May and I are extended for yet another month.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. It was quick. It was easy. It was me that didn't know what he was doing. He was ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, these guys
Totally different mindset than the Philippines.
It's like a drive-through there. It's just, just what do you want? How do you want it? Pay for it and get out. I happen to be sitting right by this immigration officer, and he got to Paul's form the third time, and he goes, well, this address and the other, I go, it's the same. It's just the same. Same. Okay? He goes, okay. And he goes, phone number, same. He goes, all right. And just moving right along, he's just like, he didn't want to screw around either, he just like, I don't give a shit if you're here, if you're not here, I've been there, before, and that's just the way they are. Very direct, very to the point, courteous to a degree, but they ain't got time for your bullshit questions. Right. There's people from Yugoslavia coming in there, and Europe, and Pakistan, and talking a different language. They ain't got time for that shit. Just get to the point. Here's what you need. Fill it out. Give it back. Stamp it. Give me the money. Get out. That's it. Yeah.
Now, you don't have any vices, I wanted to point out. Also, you're not a drinker, a smoker, a doper.
I work out quite a bit. Pump it. Can you see that? Pump.
Put that away.
Put it back in the bag now.
You're not a womanizer. You're not doing all that kind of stuff. So that is a big factor of the budget. You and I have had many discussions that every generation or every 10 years or so, how much we change.
Absolutely.
And right now, you and I are both of the mindset that we really just want to be freaking comfortable. Yeah. We're no longer 40. We're no longer 50. We're no longer out trying to slay the dragon or stay out all night or do this or jet ski or mountain climb or whatever. Yeah. We really are just old men. It's just the bottom line.
That's the word for me is
and
decrepit.
We want our air conditioning. We want our food. We want to be able to just knock back and take a nap if we want to. We want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So we're not doing the big traveling deal anymore. As far as once we get here, we're just kind of like what I just said, old guys.
Yeah, being the key word for me is content. I'm just very content at this stage of my life. And I use the phrase, if the juice is worth the squeeze. If you do go out to the nightlife venues and you want to buy a girl a drink, it's $7, $8, and she usually has a friend that comes over, and chitty chat, and you buy her a drink, and then they want another drink, and then you pick up and go to another establishment, and then the same thing starts over again. I mean, you can drop $100, $150, no problem, and only go to 4 or 5 different clubs. And I'm not into that. When I was younger, yeah, sure, yeah, you want a drink? Yeah, here you go. And I think a lot of it has to do, for me anyway, of my peak earning years are over. I only have just so much income coming in, my Social Security, and, God bless my daughter. She handles, some of the passive income that I've established. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't live the lifestyle that I have right now. But so I don't want to spend that money just needlessly buying drinks and tipping, $10, $20, like in Vegas, when we lived in Vegas, you go out to clubs and, it was just, man, $20 bills were nothing. I used to pay $100 just to get into a nightclub, with my wife or my girlfriend at that time. You have a $100 bill in your hand and there's a big long line. You just walk up and the guy knew what you were going to do. The doorman, you shake his hand and that $100 bill slides off and they take you right in and give you a table. I mean, that was just commonplace. You park your car, $10, $20 because you want it, right up front. You don't want to wait a half an hour for your ride. So when you get older, it's just, is the juice worth the squeeze? It's like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't care if they like me or they don't like me. I really don't care. Right. I mean, I'm fine with everybody. I'm cool with everybody. I'm polite and but other than that, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I wear mostly T-shirts, shorts and flip-flops. That's the lifestyle. Not into the rest of it.
Speaking of girlfriends, and then we'll close on this. What is your impression of a guy like I still find a distinct difference between Thai women and Filipino women. and I'm prejudiced, I guess, but you've met Baby May for
Yeah.
the first time in person.
Yeah.
And those two have bonded like brother and sister. She loves him to death. And, but I have always felt that there's, even the couple of times that I've lived here, which is not as long as you have, and then the 5 years plus that I've lived in the Philippines, I have just felt that there's a different type of connection with the females in Thailand as opposed to the Philippines. Personally, myself, doesn't matter, it's just my own opinion, I find a deeper emotional connection with women in the Philippines than here. Now, every time that I've been here, it has not been motivated by women. We were here, you were here with the church before.
Yeah, 04.
I was involved with the church back in 09, 010, when I was going back and forth to Laguna.
Right.
And still want to connect with those people. That's been a little challenging because of their time constraints. But that being said, what is your opinion of that? I mean, am I on? Am I off? You haven't spent a lot of time in the Philippines. You came in, you looked, you smelled around, you touched, you felt, you said, I don't like it. It's a shithole. I'm leaving.
How was that? That forthright? I didn't realize it was...
That's a quote.
That's how I feel. I've been to the Philippines 4 or 5 times. I've been to Baguio, it's up in the mountains. Way too hilly and too touristy in a smaller location. I've been to Manila. That's a real shithole. I mean, I think that's a worldwide view, not just mine. There's like, I don't know, 20 million people, and they're just stacked on top of each other. A cab ride literally takes 2-3 hours just to get across town. Didn't care for that. I've been to Cebu a couple of times. Mactan Island, I've been there. I don't know what it is. I was married to a Filipino. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did.
Yeah, she was from Hawaii, so she was an American Filipino. I loved her. I mean, we had a great relationship, great marriage, lasted about 5 years, and it was amicable. We decided to. We could do a video on my view on that, but maybe later. Maybe later. I just don't dig the Philippine culture. It's really not a fair question to me.
It isn't. That's true.
Because you mentioned...
You haven't been there.
Let me talk. This is my show.
Sorry.
It's in your name. It's my show. You mentioned Baby May, and I see she's faith-based. So she's different from just a regular Filipina because she's faith-based. She has a different attitude. She's coming from a different viewpoint. So for her, yes, there's a distinct difference between her and Thai women. What we were talking about as far as Patong is that it's the epicenter of tourism. It's a night venue. There's a lot of go-go bars and that whole routine. So girlfriends here are transactional. You pay to play. You've got that, and then the regular girls, quote unquote, are standoffish because they don't want you to think they're a bar girl. So it's really hard to break down that wall. If you're only here for the first couple of months or so, you're just a tourist. And it really takes just now, really after about 6 months. These same waitresses in the hotels, the restaurants, the beach venues. They see me for 6. They go, wow, this guy's just not a hit or a miss. He's here. And they really do start to open up. Whenever I park my bike down at the beach, the vendors, the younger guys that are hawking for jet skis and parasailing and that kind of massages and that kind of stuff, they watch out for me. You and I haven't talked about that, but they'll see an open space for a bike and they call me Papa, Papa, right here, right here. More than 2 or 3 times they've actually come over and slid bikes over so I could slide mine in. They've guarded me against going out into the beach on my bike when it's wet because it's like cement. You hit it and they don't want me to fall over. So the whole concept of which do I prefer? I prefer the Thai people. You know, they're very complimentary. They're very polite. Yes, you've got it's capitalism. You know, at its worst, maybe with you know, according to, you know, how much money you got. You know, if you got the coin, it's like woohoo.
Yeah.
You know, we're having fun now. But you know, the beach vendors aren't as bad as they were in Bali.
No,
When you and I were in Bali,
That
those
was
sons of guns, you know, I mean,
I never want to go there again.
they did everything but, you know, grab onto you. You know, you just look at something. Oh, you want to buy it? You know, how many you want? You know, it's like, you know, back
They would
off.
touch you.
Yeah, I hate
would
that.
bother
I hate
me.
when they lay hands on me, you know, and because hundreds and hundreds of people a day, they're touching. You don't know where their hands have been, you know what I mean? So it's just a preference that I have. I prefer Thai men and women. Not, let's don't go there, okay? I'm not talking about prefer them sexually, but I prefer the, what do you call it? The population, men and women population of the Thais versus the Philippines.
Okay,
And that's
fair
just, you know, you can go to Angeles City. You want to pay for play? My God, it's wide open. It's more than what it is here in Patong. Probably 4 or 5 times larger than that. You know, but Thailand, you can go to Pattaya, which is talking about cost of living. It's cheaper there in Pattaya. Hua Hin, it's on the water. That's like 3 hours south of Bangkok. It's on the bay. It's a little cheaper there. And then when you get up north into what they would call the provinces in the Philippines, when you get up into Isan and Khon Kaen, Chiang Rai, Udon Thani, Ubon Ratchathani, they're just normal, regular towns that, you know, there's not a lot of attractions, not a lot of things to do. They got the temples and whatnot. You know, it's really, really inexpensive there, just like the Philippines in the provinces. So, you know, you've got that. I don't know how I got back on that subject.
That's all good. Yeah, that's what we wanted to hear. It's what I wanted to hear, and that's what I wanted to relate. So, guys, we've been going almost 30 minutes here, and I want to thank you for hanging in, tuning into the channel. Gary, I want to thank you for coming over.
My pleasure.
And giving me your time and them your time. Any parting words for the people back there that are maybe contemplating coming to Thailand?
Well, first and foremost, leave comments because I want to reply to you, okay? And you know who you are. Leave the comments for me because I will get back to you. Other than that, you know, Thailand, you have to visit here, absolutely. And I know, Paul, there's been many vacationers, long-term vacationers that have went to Dumaguete and said, nah, man, this ain't for me, you know, and turn around and buzz out. And that's what you got to do. Paul calls it boots on the ground. You know, you really have to come here. But I guarantee you that you'll enjoy it. It's, you know, it's safe. It's extremely modern. Great infrastructure. Low season now is, you know, it's a rainy season. We've had a lot of rain here the past week or so, and it's going to continue. High season starts in November until about April. Fabulous, fabulous weather. A little humid here. But it's not an arm and a leg. You can come here on a budget and you can see and taste and feel and enjoy and experience, and I'd say do it.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, kids. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Gary, thanks for coming on the channel.
My pleasure.
See you in the next video.
Bye.